I'm here with Calvary Day coach Jackie Hamilton.
4 games, and they've changed the schedule of the games.
That game is Thursday at 7. If Beach wins, they will be playing the very next.
Welcome to another edition of Holding Court.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Holding Court. I am Rich McGowan alongside Don Heath as usual. And Don, another week and Groves Rebels just keep on winning. The fourth win against Johnson the other night. What does Johnson need to do to keep up with the Rebels?
Well, Johnson really can't keep up with the Rebels. That's the problem. The Rebels are just too big. They block a lot of shots. Johnson drives to the basket, and that's perfectly suited for the big trees of Groves. They go 6'9", 6'8", and 6'6" in the middle. And believe me, if you're a little guy going into that forest, you're not coming out unscathed. And it's gotten worse and worse for Johnson as the games go on, and they just can't match up with Groves. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. And other games of note from the last week.
Tonight,
yes.
Or Friday night, Savannah High will try to match up with Groves, and Savannah High's on a hot streak right now. They've won 11 out of their last 15 games, and 2 of those losses were in a national tournament in Florida. So they're 11-2 against regular competition, and they played Groves the first time, lost by 2 to them. So that's in Garden City this week.
And what are some things Savannah High is doing of late? Because they started off the season pretty rough. What are some of the areas they've made strides in as the season
started off 0-6, but it was I just got off the phone with Tim Jordan, as a matter of fact, and not that I'm name dropping or anything, but Tim was saying part of the problem that they had early in the season was he has no senior starters, and none of the starters this year had started the year before. So really, you had a whole new group of people out there, and they just needed to grow up. And basically, what's happened is that's what's happening. They're growing up. They've beaten teams that they lost to the first time around, and they're hoping they can do the same thing against Grove. Now that may be a little tougher task, but they're so far so good for the revenge tour for the Blue Jackets.
And on the girls' side of things, in the last week, in Region 3-5A, Bradwell Institute wrapped up the #1 seed for the region tournament. No surprise there. They're just far and away deeper and more talented than everybody else in the region this year. They're just they're a tough team to stop. Richmond Hill, the Wildcats, have won 5 in a row. They're picking up some momentum, and that's going to be especially important as their last 3 games of the season here in the next couple weeks are against the top teams that they're competing with for the top spot in the region. So the Wildcats gaining some momentum, and they're going to need that as they face Liberty County and Washington County next week. Calvary Day, the girls, once again defeated Savannah Christian the other night, and it just the thing with Savannah Christian, the problem they have against Calvary is once Calvary gets on a little bit of a roll, getting quick points, getting turnovers, and they can really put 8-10 points on the board in a hurry. They've done it to Savannah Christian in every game, and it just seems to be enough to put them over the top.
Sounds like they have the Johnson syndrome going against Groves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's getting to it. It's almost a mental thing where once Calvary gets those quick, 6-8 points all in a row, Savannah Christian, I think, sort of gets a little here we go again kind of mentality.
They've lost 3.
Savannah Christian has lost 3 games all season long. All 3 of those games to Calvary. So, and it's 10 in a row overall, dating back to December of 2006. So, absolutely, it's got to be a mental block by now. And Bryan County, the Redskins, have clinched their first berth in the region tournament since I think 2005 it was. So the Redskins are just having a heck of a season. They're I think 15-6, 15-5, and they've got a big game coming up tomorrow night against Calvary Day, and then Savannah Christian next week. So a couple big games coming up for the Redskins to really show where they stand in terms of the region standings. Don, anything else you have to add coming up next week?
No, Benedictine has a big game on Saturday night against Appling County. Benedictine's at home the rest of the way, and of course they're shooting for that
big showdown
on February 12th, Friday night, against McIntosh County Academy, their only loss, and if they can win that game and theoretically go through the region with just that one loss, then both teams would have one loss and they'd be co-champions.
And on the girls' side, St. Vincent's is also hosting Appling County this weekend, and they also are their last 3 games are against the 3 of the top teams in the region. So if St. Vincent's can put together a little bit of run, they can certainly vault up the region standings going into the region tournament. And so with that, I think we're going to bring this edition of Holding Court to a close. Don, thanks very much. And thank you for watching. Be sure to check back here next week for another edition of Holding Court. I'm Rich McGowan.